Looks like Shadow won the bid war, so let's get started with his run in 3, 2, 1, let's go! So if you've never seen a Sonic project and or 06 before, this is a fan-made remake built from the ground up in the Unity engine of Sonic 06 by lead developer ChaosX and a whole bunch of other awesome people in the Sonic fan community. It basically seeks to take that Xbox 360 and PlayStation original game and transform it into the Sonic Adventure 3 it was always trying to be. Starting off in Shadow's story here, I'm going to be tossing it over to my 5 Michelin star commentator Gordon Ramsay to explain what this category is cooking up for us.
Thank you very much, Stelmo. For anyone unfamiliar with this run, we've got 9 stages that we've got to play through, but we won't be playing as Shadow the entire time. Sonic 06 gives you 2 companion characters to work with for each main hedgehog, Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. For Shadow, you've got Rouge the Bat, who you can see on screen right now, and E123 Omega, who we won't be seeing for a little while. Rouge's gameplay is all about, just maneuvering through the stage and trying to hunt down specific goals, like finding that switch there. She can glide through the air, climb on walls, throw out bombs, yada yada yada. She's got some varied gameplay. We'll see it a bit more in her next stage, Kingdom Valley. Right here, we've got a quick little cutscene, leveraging some unused dialogue and new camera angles. The developer ChaosX has added a few of these to the stages, just to flesh them out a little bit more, make them feel a bit more alive. These are optional, you can turn them off in settings, but we want to keep them on for the marathon.
Switching back over to Shadow, we have to do something a little bit more interesting than just hitting a goal ring to finish this stage. We have to destroy these 5 searchlights, which we're going to be doing with that classic homing attack as well as the Chaos Spear. The Chaos Spear, we can throw up to 3 sets in the air before we have to homing attack something or land back on the ground. And if we just press the X button, we are going to fire up to 5 spears that can stun enemies and such. But also, if we hold the button and charge it up to a yellow variant, those spears will now do a little bit of damage. Very nice stuff, and we're going to be talking more about that in our next stage as we first get our spin effect for Kingdom Valley.
Looks like we're going retail on the next one.
All right, sticking with the retail ball because that's what we were using first. Nice.
Nice.
Going to be seeing some new interesting gameplay at the beginning of Kingdom Valley as well.
Yeah, just a little bit of it coming up. Sonic 06 had a lot of experimental gameplay in it. So for Shadow, one of his gimmicks is that he has these 4 vehicles that he can commandeer throughout his story. One of them is completely optional, the Jeep. The other 3 we'll see throughout the run. Hang glider right here in the original game was stuck on a spline, but in this it's free roam. You can go wherever you want. To move fast, just hold down the A button and double tap it once every 3 seconds. May need some crowd involvement on that one. Counting can be a little difficult in these high-stakes runs.
Yeah, next time we see that hang glider, definitely help us out, crowd, and chat as well. But first, we got to switch back over to Rouge the Bat. The Rouge is in a lot of the very early stages of Shadow's run. I was trying to avoid saying front-loaded right there. As we go ahead and have to search for 3 keys. So, kind of like a combination of Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, but mostly Sonic Adventure 1. Unlike the 5,365,420,690 whatever number locations that were in those first 2 adventure games, there's only 3 unique places each of the keys can be in, and they don't overlap, which makes it really nice to remember where they are. The Rouge's climbing and gliding that Gordon talked about earlier, along with just the better movement that Project 06 offers, finding the 3 keys is no problem, especially with that Adventure 1 styled radar. We can track all the keys at once.
All right, now we've got our second vehicle over here. This one's pretty complicated. It's called the Hovercraft, and it...
What does it do? What? Does it car?
Know?
I think it cars.
Yeah, it is moving, but what else does it do?
On water, right? So it's like a boat.
Yeah. Like
a car boat.
Craft.
A boat, even.
A Borat?
A Borat?
Oh, it's very nice.
USA.
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 USA. USA. USA. Yeah.
Oh, he's on the loose. Going into Section 3 of Kingdom Valley here, we're doing some standard platforming with Shadow, so I'm going to talk about how we do that standard platforming. Once again, talking about the jump dash this time instead of just the homing attack and the Chaos Spear. A little bit of interaction between the two is that you can actually use the Chaos Spear not only before a jump dash, but you can also use one after a jump dash, and if you do so, you gain an additional jump dash. You only gain 1 extra jump dash per 3 spears, so don't get too excited. You can't, fly over stages or anything. That's not this character's forte, but maybe some of the others. Another cool thing about the Chaos Spear is that each time you throw one, Shadow will recover by doing a small bounce in the air. When you use all 3 in succession, we call those spear bounces, by the way, using all 3 of those in a succession can help us get some extra height. Additionally, we're using the customizable jump dash type of Legacy. There's 3 different kinds. Legacy is not only the fastest, not only does it go the furthest, but it also preserves your direction. However, the Chaos Spear completely nullifies that. We can use that to our advantage right here. Do a corner cut using 2 spears and 2 jump dashes to get to this tower, and then we can jump to this tower, and then finally we can avoid these enemies, light dash, then go ahead and do a slope jump against that pillar, Chaos Spear, then jump dash into the tower and hit the goal ring. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
That's a cool thing that 06 offers. You can kind of create your own routes through stages just by, like, exploiting those slope jumps, the physics, character abilities, and destroying parts of the environment.
Project 06 does a great job adding on top of that, too, with a lot better character control than what was in the original game.
Oh, yeah.
Heading into Crisis City here, let's get our next spin effect, as we see Shadow and Sonic debate with each other, I guess. Who's the better looking, I suppose? Oh, the orb! Well, good thing it's this stage that has the orb, because Section 1 is just full of spin dashing. It's worth noting that Shadow actually has the spin dash here in Project 06 because he didn't have it for whatever reason in the original game. Yes, when he fell to Earth after Sonic Adventure 2, he hit his head pretty hard, didn't remember he could use it until this game. But regardless, we are able to just let the physics take its course and spin dash down these slopes. Really a good showcase of just how much more improved the physics are. Maybe not even more improved, just how much more Sonic-like the physics are in Project 06. And it's almost like Sonic Team had it in mind when creating these levels, because most of the levels are completely unchanged in Project 06, though there are a few expansions that we'll be talking about later. As we hop into Section 2 of Crisis City, I'm going to throw it over to Gordon to explain what's going on with the action gauge.
Right, the action gauge is that little meter in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Most characters in P-06 do have access to it, but the way they use it and what it does, it all varies. It's kind of like your special move system, or your meter. For Shadow, you filled up by defeating enemies and collecting their energy cores, or grabbing one of those gauge-up capsules, like so. Once it's full, you can press the right trigger to activate Chaos Boost. You'll get a cool little aesthetic boon as you start glowing red, and your combat abilities will be enhanced. At level 1, keep that in mind, more on that later, you get access to the Chaos Snap, which is an upgrade to your homing attack. If you hold down the A button, Shadow will kind of warp in and out of existence and then teleport to the nearest target. When he does that teleport, like when he phases in and out, the game actually performs a second lock-on check. So that effectively gives you a much, much longer lock-on for your homing attack, which you can use for a massive corner cut, just like this.
Nice!
Nice. Very good, very good. And we can head right into Section 3, where we have the return of the hang glider, so...
You know what that means? Count with me, everyone. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Please don't vote for Shadow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
We're free.
Oh my goodness, we're free. Thank you guys so much for that. Couldn't have done it without you. Now, as we hop into Section 4, we got about 40 seconds for donations, so I'll toss it over to Kung Fu Fruit Cup at the donation station for those.
And Kung Fu Fruit Cup, Google the GDQ donation generator just real quick, and you know, it's perfectly on here.
They just didn't have any donations, so they just used the donation generator. That'd be so sad.
We have a nice hypothetical donation from Anonymous here. Another great day at SGDQ. Love working my childhood. Cancer get destroyed. Money goes to view the viewer. Save the cancer. Oh no!
Oh no! No, that's not what they meant. I hope.
It's a terrible one. What an unfortunate first message.
And this is why you don't vote for Shadow in the GDQ poll.
Yes. The second one's the same thing, but it just says, love watching my childhood grub get destroyed.
Not the
When
grub.
It goes to kill the games, save the donation.
Save the donation. Oh my goodness. Let's get that next spin effect, speaking of donations.
SA2.
SA2, well, how appropriate with Mr. SA2 himself. Hopping into Flame Core here, we are going to be talking more about Chaos Boost. Now, Gordon made a special note in Crisis City Section 2 explaining that Chaos Boost, in fact, was only at level 1 in that stage. And that's because there are two, well, sort of. 2 additional levels the Chaos Boost. In order to level it up, there's that meter underneath the action gauge called the Maturity Meter. While Chaos Boost is active, energy cores and gauge up capsules will also fill up that meter. When it's completely red, we can press the Chaos Boost activation button again to go to level 2 and then to level 3. We're not going to be seeing what level 2 and level 3 do quite at the moment, but what we will see is level 4, uninhibited mode. This is a power-up locked behind getting an S rank in every single stage in Shadow Story, which means that any percent in Project 06 means New Game Plus. Each of the 3 main hedgehogs have an ability like this, but Shadows is probably the coolest, taking the final cutscene of the original Sonic 06 Shadow Story and transforming it into a gameplay feature. Shadow releases his inhibitor rings. All of his Chaos Boost abilities are overclocked. He's got the almighty power of touch damage. He can defeat any enemy in 1 hit, and he's yellow and all invincible and stuff, and it's really cool. Now, unlike his super form, this is tied to the action gauge rather than rings, so, well, I guess more unlike a super form, that is.
Yeah.
When the action gauge runs out, we will incur a 6-second penalty where Shadow will have to recover his strength. But thankfully, by restarting the section, which you could do in the original game, but there was actually an additional option added there to where you could restart the stage entirely. Since we enter Section 2 and don't need uninhibited mode to do the platforming here any faster, we can actually just end it immediately by restarting the section, which is very nice. We also wouldn't incur the uninhibited mode penalty if we ran out of action gauge during automation or on rails, but we just had to restart the section in this case. And now that I've blabbered on enough, we're going to hop on this rail and switch back to, guess what, your favorite amigo, Omega Rouge.
Let's go! Sorry. Just did my cash. Okay, so unlike treasure hunting, these orbs are not randomized. There are 5 of them, a little bit of a step up from the keys we had before. But they are on a timer, so you have 1 minute to hit them all, and if you don't, I mean, you just go back and do it again. It's very easy, and now Rouge is gone forever.
Switching back over to Shadow the Hedgehog, we're going to be doing some spin dash slope jumping. Well, kind of there, went a little bit slow, but we still made the jump we needed to do. And then we're going to be aiming our spin dash upward with the help of that energy cage in order to quarter cut some platforming. Fall down this tube of fire geysers, screaming our heads off even though the subtitles say differently, and finish off Flame Core in a time. Very nice. Let's get our next spin effect and head on into Radical Train.
Looks like we are going right back to default.
Default, let's go. Haven't seen that yet in this run. My personal favorite spin effect. Radical Train is a pretty straightforward stage. All we're going to have to do in Section 1 is defeat Eggman's train at 2 different checkpoints. Well, just damage it, I should say. We're going to fully defeat it in Section 2 with another one of Shadow's unique vehicles, but because it's pretty straightforward, I'm going to go ahead and talk about a mechanic we've seen sprinkled throughout Shadow's story, where we're going to see it a lot more in full force as the combat sections ramp up in his story. The Tornado Kick. So, in the original Sonic 06, the Tornado Kick was only able to be used while standing still. However, in Project 06, it makes the move mobile, and in doing so, completely nullifies every single combat ability Sonic, even I think he's the faker, Shadow has, that's other than uninhibited mode, and even then, it's better than uninhibited mode in some cases, because we can use it as base Shadow. We don't even need to level all the way up to level 4 Chaos Boost. But regardless, the Tornado Kick is pretty crazy for a couple reasons. The main 2 reasons are, 1, it has a ridiculous range, and can constantly hit enemies within that range. Secondly, it does 2 damage about every quarter second. The most amount of health we're going to see in Shadow's story is 6 HP. Doing a little quick back of the napkin math, we can defeat the strongest enemy in this story in less than a second with a Tornado Kick. It's pretty ridiculous. But you know what else is ridiculous? The motorcycle. And by that, I mean ridiculously cool, as we're going to see it right here.
Yeah, boy! Okay, so this is the final of the unique vehicles that we'll be seeing in Shadow's story. The motorcycle only shows up in Radical Train in Project 06, and all you have to do with it is hop on and gun down the train. Now, if you activate Chaos Boost as a homage to Shadow's own game, you actually get unlimited ammo in any vehicle, which is very, very helpful in the section where all you have to do is spray and pray.
Yeah, it takes about 170 bullets to completely destroy the train, assuming you hit every shot. The terrain can be a little bit finicky sometimes with the bike, but not having to refill the clip and save about 5 seconds is very, very nice. Normally, we wouldn't be able to get to it until we get to the bridge, destroy the train until we get to the bridge, but the Chaos Boost Easter egg is very nice. Alrighty, entering Aquatic Base, let's get our next spin effect.
Back to SA1.
All right, I'll switch to it in a second as we got time for one donation as Shadow utterly decimates this opening combat section with the tornado kick.
Wow, man. Thanks to the runner man and those running behind the scene, could tell you what, glad to kill to such a worthy cause, man. Come on, put this animal towards the viewer's choice. That's the donation.
Wow.
That's
what an accent.
Yeah, man. That's one
hey, look, it's Silver.
Oh, here he is. All right, so Silver, as I mentioned before, is one of the other main characters in the game in Project 06. Occasionally, you'll team up with one of the other main hedgehogs. Just give you a little taste of their gameplay. Silver is probably the most unique character in Sonic. He uses the action gauge more than anyone else. He can use it to fly through the air, manipulate all those like boxes and objects around the stage, grab enemies.
Switching back over to Shadow, unfortunately he didn't pay for the Silver DLC, so we're not going to be seeing him for the rest of the run. We're going to use the fact that his action gauge refills naturally to transfer it to Shadow and immediately activate Chaos Boost. Take us to level 2, grab that hidden gauge up capsule for level 3, which activates Chaos Blast. I don't think you need me to tell you what that one does. Cool thing, too, is we have a little bit of time to explain what level 2 Chaos Boost does, and that's the Chaos Lance. If you remember way back at the beginning of the run in White Acropolis, I talked about how there's a blue variant and yellow variant, or yellow charged variant, of the Chaos Spear. When you are level 2 or higher in Chaos Boost, the yellow spear becomes the default, and then when you charge it, you can fire a single insta-kill projectile. It's not really too useful, and it actually uses up extra action gauge on top of the drain to fire that lance. However, in uninhibited mode, you don't have to charge it, and you can fire 5 instant kill projectiles at once, which we're going to be seeing right here in this really cool combat section.
There is no commentary for this, just enjoy it.
Well, now there is commentary for it, because you talk. Now there's more commentary, because I talked.
Technicalities. Now he's yellow on the results screen.
Oh my goodness! In practice earlier today, that box behind Shadow actually landed right in front of the camera. So we had uninhibited box. Kind of hoping it would happen again, but it is what it is.
Alas.
Heading into Wave Ocean here, normally what you're supposed to do is hop in a hang glider in this opening section, but I'm going to be a total Chad and instead do this section gliderless, something you're not normally able to do, but like Gordon said earlier, you're just able to kind of make your own routes in Project 06, and with the addition to spear bounces and the fact that we have infinite hang time with the Chaos Spear, we can kind of do some crazy stuff like this. Now, normally I would do shoutouts, but I have absolutely nobody to thank because nobody helped me out with this. Other than Mr. Gordon Ramsay for accepting my craziness in the amount of preparation we've done for GDQ over these last 2 months.
I'll expect my check in the mail.
You can get channel points.
Let's go!
Yo, better than real money! Let's go! One thing here with gliderless is that we actually get a slope jump off of the little spike on the top of the umbrella. You can get slope jumps. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can get slope jumps off of some really interesting terrain. And that's not, I wouldn't say the weirdest thing, but that's not the only odd thing we're going to be getting a slope jump off of in Wave Ocean here. Almost done with gliderless here. You know, again, being a total Chad, gonna get underestimate and waste 30 seconds doing this over being in the hang glider. Sorry, guys, I just didn't want to count to 3 again. We took care of that in Crisis City. But now it's Omega time. Let's go!
Okay, so,
Gordon the hype man.
We're not actually going to see too much of his gameplay right here, unfortunately. It's just kind of hovering to the end. But Omega is another example of the action gauge at work, or action bar, whatever you want to call it. What's consistency? By holding down the A button, you can hover and quickly deplete it to cover a fair bit of distance. Now, in the original game, you could exploit it by just repeatedly tapping the button to, like, reset your fall speed, and it wasn't bound by the action gauge or anything. That is gone in P-06. However, by using that multi-lock-on, like, pea-shooter thing, if you kill an enemy and collect the energy core, well, it fills the action gauge back up, so you can just fly for even longer. And that does introduce some kind of cool movement to Omega. Don't worry about the main antagonist or the guns on screen right now. We're back to Shadow, baby!
Oh, Shadow, baby! So when we switch back to Shadow, we're dropped into this huge open area where we have to find a switch, but thankfully Gordon told me right before this run where the switch is, so we can spin dash right to it. Additionally, too, I wanted to mention that Omega's hover animation was actually an unused beta element from the original game that was added back into Project 06. Very neat stuff. We're going to be getting a little bit of a weird slope jump right here against this sloped terrain. There's no, like, actual slope, but the collision is sloped, so we're able to get a slope jump and get over an invisible wall. Pretty nice. And now we're zooming through some expanded level design. That's the word.
Yeah, that's what Stelmo was talking about earlier, and we saw a little bit of it in Flame Core as well. P-06 does not touch the original terrain, aside from just like patching up holes in the kill planes or collisions, but occasionally it does extend the object layout, or set placement, to just, you know, expand the stages a little bit more in ways that make sense. Like, you know, Shadow gets a platforming section before he gets... That was really delayed. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Before he gets into the hovercraft, which I still don't know what it does, but, you know, he's got some platforming in the platform.
Guess that was all right. Well, at least he knows how to park it.
Roo! He just liked me for real.
Into Dusty Desert we go. What's our next spin effect for the run?
I'll take him down.
Not changing.
No matter what he does.
I think
Not
it's stuck
changing,
to
all right.
SA1.
Sticking with the SA1 ball. You
Yeah.
terrible people. So normally what we're supposed to do in our final vehicle section is we're supposed to snake through the left side of the level here through a bunch of level design, going through a bunch of pillars in order to open up this temple door to my right here. But thankfully the trigger to open it is right behind this breakable wall, so we can just complete section 1 in 20 seconds. And now actually start Shadow's Dusty Desert proper. So what we have to do first is spin dash down a couple tubes. We are avoiding the dash panels here because actually most of the dash panels in Project 06 are slower than Shadow can go. So we tend to like to avoid them, but we can invalidate another combat section with the tornado kick once again there. And we are going to use the light dash once more to speed through this section. And then, did I call it Shadow's Dusty Desert? I meant Omega's Dusty Desert.
He's back. Omega is back on the screen, and now we actually get to see a little bit of his combat.
I didn't know it was that
Somebody
funny.
walked in at that moment, and I had to very quickly. Anyways.
Omega combat.
Yeah, you can lock onto the enemies and shoot them, and there's a whole bunch of routing in that.
Oh, gosh.
Please take over.
Okay, so getting caught in a little seam there, that just kind of happens when the doors open sometimes in Project 06. So Omega's kind of a combination of his Sonic Heroes and the mechs from Sonic Adventure 2. Heroes counterpart in the mechs from Sonic Adventure 2. So as we saw in the previous section, we've got the lock-on shot, which can target up to 5 enemies. I don't know. Shadow Story really likes the number 5. And we're able to defeat them. He's also got his melee combo from Sonic Heroes, but he's also got a brand new ability, another cutscene-only ability transformed into gameplay here, Gatling Guns mode, where we do have a limited ammo count, but every time we collect energy cores, it refills, which is very nice. And Omega can move around and defeat enemies really, really quickly. Very nice stuff. Definitely earns his place as the ultimate E100 series robot here, as we go ahead and hit this switch and switch on back over to Shadow. For the finale of Dusty Desert, we're zooming through the worst room in the game. No matter which way you slice it, this room does not feel good to move through. You mess it up at all, it's pretty rough, but thankfully we didn't there. Invalidating yet another combat section. Those purple worms have 6 HP, by the way. That's just how it goes. With the tornado kick, it's so busted, man. As we go ahead and spin dash, or try to spin dash down some more tubes, hit this checkpoint, grab this extra life. We're going to skip all these enemy encounters here. Go ahead and grab this pole, swing off of it, Sonic Adventure 2 reference, and hit the goal ring.
Ooh,
Finishing off our final full-length stage, but that's not the end of the run, as we do have one more to head through.
It's not?
It's
No.
not?
No!
No, we need our
Could it
next
be?
spin effect, though.
Default.
All
Exit
right,
this
default
world
for
as
it.
you entered it.
Very nice.
That's right, we're going to be playing as a Rouge the Bat once again!
Woo!
Anyways, it's a little more key hunting, but unlike Kingdom Valley, one key is always in the same location. This is one of the extra stages, or Amigo levels. Every main character in Sonic 06 and their story, for whatever reason, the devs said, you know, let's give one stage entirely dedicated to the partner character. So for Sonic, you have Tails playing through Wave Ocean. For Silver, you have Blaze playing through Wave Ocean. And for Shadow, you have Rouge and Tropical Jungle, which is infinitely more interesting. Now, fun fact about this level, it's actually loosely based off of a unused layout from the original game. In retail, the Amigos did not have optional difficulties for their stages, unlike everything else in the game, but they did have object layouts built for it, and Rouge was meant to do some key hunting in Tropical Jungle.
Time! Wow, what a beautiful end.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Well, very good time. Definitely under that estimate there. Probably like 25 minutes on the real time. But who needs the real time timer when loadless is so much better? Hope you guys enjoyed this What If Shadow made it into GDQ. It was beautiful. Shout outs to my commentator, Gordon Ramsay, and my other commentator, the person that lives with Gordon Ramsay, for making an appearance at the end of this run. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely check out the other hedgehog that didn't make it into the marathon. Probably going to be silver, but who knows? Anything can happen at GDQ. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.